Hiya! Welcome! Thought we'd do another Blu-ray unboxing today, as it's been a little while since the last one. I mean, I've been collecting a hell of a lot of films over the past few months, and I've only shown a small amount of them on the channel because film collecting, Blu-ray buying isn't my modus operandi here on Jimmy Barnes. But I like to show stuff, especially when I've got stuff on a discount, when there's been like a seasonal sale going on, and that's kind of the point of this one. It's been mainly BFI Blu-rays that I've been purchasing and watching over the past 2-3 months or more, and loved building up that collection. If anyone would like me to do a video where I go through my entire collection, and it kind of grows almost on a weekly basis at the moment because I just search out bargains at places like eBay mainly. But if you'd be interested in seeing my entire BFI collection so far, then do let me know in the comments, and that's something that I'll endeavour to do in the near future. But this is kind of a straightforward unboxing here, and it's from a company I've never used before, a well-known film DVD Blu-ray releasing organisation. I'm trying to think of the right term, but I don't think I've got any films from this company in my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection. Well, now I have. I've got 7 of them. I'm talking about Arrow Video. Now, Arrow, a lot of film buffs will be more than familiar with them, and I was familiar with them, but I've just, for whatever reason, not got any Arrow editions in my collection until today. I saw on Facebook, I think it was, that they had their Camp Arrow summer sale going. I think they do it every year. This one's like the 6th one or something like that. So it's been going quite a while, here in the UK anyway. I ordered 7 Blu-rays here. Just cover that up. Oh no, don't dox myself. Now then, one thing I noticed when I was ordering these was that the parent company of Arrow Video, at least in the UK, is THG, or the Hook Group. Now, a lot of subscribers and viewers of my channel will be familiar from their own experience with the Hook Group, as they not only run Zavvi, but they also used to, back in the day, run Pop in a Box, the Funko subscription service, and basically they made a complete balls up of it, and I actually boycotted the Hook Group. Well, the boycott is over, at least in the case of Arrow Video. If I wanted these at this price, I had no choice but to order from Arrow Video directly. Maybe these were also on sale at the same price at Zavvi, I'm not sure, I didn't look. But it's either getting them from there at that price or missing out. So I think there's 7 Blu-rays in here. 5 of them were £9 each, and 2 of them were £5 each, and then including £6 or £7 in postage, I think the total order came to £62. So £62, 7 films, I think that's pretty good. And there's at least a couple in here that I have seen before on TV or streaming, most certainly. So let's get it open, and the ones that I have seen before I might be able to talk a little bit more about, but I won't go into great detail over anything here. The majority of this stuff I've actually forgotten what I ordered. It was just looking at what was reduced. Up to 50% off all of these, I think. Maybe even more than 50% off in the case of the couple that were a £5. I mean, a £5 for a brand new Blu-ray. You've got to find something worth a punt, surely. Packaging looks pretty good without being exceptional. I might as well just take these from the top, actually. So the first one I got is With Nail and I think I have seen With Nail and I many years ago. I mean, it's a British cult comedy classic, and it's one I've got friends who absolutely adore this film. It's up there as one of their very favourites. I remember enjoying it. I've just never got round to seeing it again, so I'm really happy that I've actually got a Blu-ray copy now. I think this was one of the £9 ones. It doesn't really matter which were which, really. Set in Camden Town. I'm just kind of looking from a distance so I can try and read a little bit of the bump. The arse end of the 60s. 2 struggling unemployed actors decide some respite is in order, and so depart to their miserable flat for a week in the Lake District, blah blah blah. Won't go on any further. I'm sure there's no proper spoilers on the back, but even so. I always wondered if this might have come out in the BFI range, to be honest, being a British film and a cult one at that. But no, Arrow have got the release rights to it, at least at the moment. And really happy that I've got With Nail and I. Next one on the pile is one, I know I've seen this, and I think it was within the last year I saw this actually, probably on Prime. And it is The Long Good Friday. So it stars Bob Hoskins, as you can see. This one says, "Who lit the fuse that tore Harold's world apart?" So it's a gangster film, British crime film from the 1980s this will be. Looks like there's plenty of extras on, as there will be for With Nail and I and for all the others as well. Great film, really enjoyed it when I watched it. I wasn't intending to want to get a physical copy, but as this was in the Arrow sale, the Camp Arrow summer sale to be precise, and that might still be going on when this video comes out, by the way. I always say that because I kind of schedule stuff a little bit ahead in time, that by the time you're watching me talking about some sort of seasonal sale on a website, that it's worth checking right away just to see if it's still going. So that is Long Good Friday. Next one. This is one that I haven't seen before. This was a complete punt for me. The Ghoul. So with Arrow, I think they're mainly known as sort of a horror specialist. And I guess this one is probably going to be horror. I think it's like a kind of mid to low budget British horror. I'm trying to think if there's any non-British films in this. And yes, I think the next one is actually an American film. So what does it say? From executive producer Ben Wheatley comes a mind-bending British psychological thriller to sit alongside such classics of the genre as Performance, Lost Highway and Following. So a psychological thriller, but you know, it's probably arguably in the horror vein as well. Some familiar faces in it by the look of it. Dan Skinner, aka Angelos Epithemiou, he's in this. Rufus Jones, I know, Neve Cusack, Jeff McGivern. This was probably a fiver, this one, so just thought it's worth having a punt with it, really. Number 4 is one that, as soon as I saw this in the sale section, I couldn't resist it, really. And the reason being that this person was briefly in the Nick Broomfield documentary, Courtney. And he made such an impact, at least on me, from his relative short appearance in that iconic documentary, and I've done a video about all my Nick Broomfield collection, so if you want to look back in the various Shish playlist you can find that. But I didn't know that there'd been a full-on documentary made about this chap, and then when I saw it not only at Arrow Video but in their sale at £9, this was a must-have for me. It is the Duche tapes. This one looks a nicer edition, more like a kind of special edition with a slipcase. These are presumably kind of like reissues, sort of more vanilla reissues without slipcases, maybe without booklets in them. I can't tell because I've not unsealed them, but they feel quite light. So Duche is, or was, because he actually died during the making of Kurt and Courtney, and I won't go into any more details because it's sort of a spoiler if you can spoil a documentary, but there'll be some of you watching who'll know what happened to him. But to read the bump, and because it's white text on light blue, I'm going to put my glasses on for this. In the early 90s, aspiring filmmaker Ryan Sexton lugged a giant camcorder into some of the seediest clubs and filthiest apartments in Hollywood. There he filmed hour upon hour of VHS footage of the jaw-droppingly offensive shock rock band The Mentors, focusing on their infamous lead singer Duche. And then it says about 30 years later, the footage was uncovered and they've pieced together a documentary about this unique individual, is what I'll call him. But yeah, this is possibly the one I'm most excited about, even though it's probably going to be very low budget. I don't even think there's a Wikipedia article available, although there is one available on Duche himself. And he's certainly someone whose life and career is well worth looking up. I mean, I only really know him from what he said on Kurt and Courtney. yeah, I'm really pleased that I found that. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. I didn't know there'd been a documentary about El Duche, and I can't wait to watch that. You know me, I'm a documentary addict anyway. Next one is something I always thought I'd seen this, but I actually don't think I have. Another American film, and it's Network. I mean, this is probably most famous for being Peter Fincher's final film. He died very soon after completing filming on this, and it has the famous scene of Peter Fincher's newscaster character threatening to commit suicide live on air. So a very memorable cult film of the 1970s, this, but I don't believe I've seen it. I've seen clips from it, certainly, but I don't think I've seen the whole thing by any stretch. So really happy that I'm finally going to be able to watch Network from start to finish. How many more have we got to go now? Just 2, I think. Next one is another Bob Hoskins, Mona Lisa. I haven't seen this before. I think it's another gangster film, British crime sort of caper. And it says 5 years after The Long Good Friday. It's not a sequel, that's just how they're saying it because it was made 5 years later. Bob Hoskins returned to the gangster genre, but his character George is a mere underling this time, a chauffeur hired by a mesmerisingly slimy gangland kingpin, played by Michael Caine. I forgot Michael Caine was in this. Also in it, Kathy Tyson and Robbie Coltrane. I do like that sort of French-style Art Nouveau sleeve as well. That's really nice. Once again, lots of special features. Yep, Mona Lisa. Not seen it before, but I've heard good things about it, and I do like British gangster crime type stuff. Not across the board, but the majority of that kind of genre that I've seen, I've always enjoyed. And the final one from Arrow in their sale is another punt, really. This might well be the other £5 one. Cold Light of Day, an 18 certificate. I think all of these are either 15s or 18s. What does it say about it? February 1983, detectives are called to a residential address in the London suburbs following reports that the drains have been clogged by human remains. Ah yes, now then, this is the film that is based on the true life story of Dennis Nielsen, an absolutely notorious serial killer in this country from kind of 40, 50-ish years ago. Mentions about Dennis Nielsen here being a mild-mannered and unassuming civil servant. I thought they'd changed his name in this film to something different, but it is basically the Dennis Nielsen story. I've seen documentaries about Dennis Nielsen. David Tennant played him in an ITV thing a couple of years or so back that was very good, but this would have come out, there will be a year on it somewhere, I'm sure. It's set in 1983 and yeah, made in 1989, so very excited to see that actually. So I was going to say this was kind of a punt, but as soon as I found out that it was based on true crime and based on Dennis Nielsen, I thought I've got to put that one in the basket. So there we go, 7 films from Arrow Video, courtesy of the Hut Group, a company who I'm not fond of, but if I wanted these at a good price, I mean, yeah, I suppose I could have gone on eBay and tried to find pre-owned copies that may have been cheaper, but it was just easy to get all these as a bundle. I think Arrow Video / THG do some sort of points system loyalty scheme where the more you buy, the more points you can get, and then you'll be able to get a discount on a future purchase. And I think they've also sent me a 10% off code for my next purchase as well. So I will have another look at Arrow. I've got no qualms about the delivery here, even though I'm not exactly a big booster for the parent company. Great to finally get some Arrow releases in the collection. I know they're a legendary movie distributor all across the world, and I think I'm going to enjoy all these. Well, I know I'm going to enjoy the majority of them at least, but probably all of them. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this look at my pickups from the Camp Arrow Video summer sale. I want to say special thanks to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm going to go now, and obviously I'm going to start watching all my Arrow Blu-rays here. Which one would you start with? Any here that you've seen that you're a fan of? Any that you've seen that you didn't like? let me know. I think for £9 for 5 of them is reasonable as they're brand new, and a £5 for a couple of them, which I'm assuming will be the Ghoul and Cold Light of Day, I think is an absolute steal really. So do let me know in the comments your thoughts, and of course follow me on Letterboxd, as I always score all the films I watch over there. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next Blu-ray unboxing video. Cheers everyone. See ya!